Hello friends, I am Vikram from eZeon Technologies. Welcome to my Java video series. In this video, I am going to talk about how to take input from keyboard through the scanner class. So before going to code, I would like to talk about the understanding of input and output in Java. So let's have a look at the basic discussion of input output. So this is input and this is output. Just a moment. Okay, fine. So I'm going to talk about input and output. So we have this Java virtual machine where the Java programs will be running. So Java virtual machine, and this part we can have input and output devices. So I'm going to divide this in two parts. So this is the external thing. This is not part of Java virtual machine. External IO media, or you can say devices. Now here I am going to categorize the input output devices. Here I am going to use, this is keyboard. You can have here files, you can have network, like this. Similarly I am going to use here, this is monitor, this is file and network, right? So these are the input devices. This part is the input device and this part is a output devices. Okay, now taking the data into Java virtual machine from any external medium is a input. So I'm going to use here streams. Streams are representing the sequence of characters, sequence of bytes, and it is just like a pipe where the data can flow through. So this is the pipe, and the data will be entered in the pipe from one end and the data can be taken from the second end. So let's assume that I want to take the input from keyboard. So you need to connect keyboard with the pipe, and this pipe is your stream, and when you are taking the data into JVM from external source is a input. So taking the data from outside into JVM is a input. So always remember with respect to the JVM. So taking the data into JVM is a input, and taking the data out of the JVM is a output, or sending the data out of the JVM is a output. So remember with respect to Java virtual machine. Now this is your keyboard is representing input stream. It is internally working through one object which is known as System.in. This System.in is your default input stream, standard input stream or default input stream. So this keyboard is represented by System.in, which is a type of input stream object, and this input stream object is ready to supply the input from keyboard, and that's why it is known as default input stream or standard input device, standard input stream, which is connected with the monitor. So taking the data from the external source into JVM is a input stream. So let me call here, this is your input stream. Similarly, sending the data outside of the JVM is an output stream. So let me draw this pipe here properly. So this time the data will be supplied from the JVM end, and this data will be accessible from the, and this data will be sent to the output destination. So here I'm going to use monitor as my output destination. So I'm going to connect this to monitor, and monitor is nothing but your System.out. So System.out is a print stream object which is representing the default output device. This is representing default output device, default output stream, which is connected to the monitor. So System.in represents keyboard and System.out represents monitor. So remember these two things. It is also known as default input and output devices, or standard input output is a better term you can use here. standard input and output. Why standard? Because this standard can be changed, depends on the host configuration. Host configuration means your operating system. So operating system is deciding what is the default input device in your computer and what is the default output device in your computer. So generally standard input device is nothing but your monitor, sorry, keyboard, and standard output device will be your monitor. So when you go through the Java documentation, you will understand these things properly. Now I'm going to show you the code here. So this is one important thing I forget here. So this is your output stream. Output stream means sending the data outside from JVM. So this is representing output. Now let's talk about the code. So here I'm going to create a project, create a simple Java project here. So this is keyboard input application. I'm going to take the input and save this program in D drive. This is my work folder. I'm going to save this program, and here you need to create a main class. So create this main class. So this is input, you can say this is test input. Now you can describe the program. So this is a small description you should write here. Taking input from keyboard, which is your System.in, using scanner class I'm using here, which is part of the utility package, and this scanner class is working through the delimiter pattern, where the default delimiter is a space character. So by default the input will be taken, input will be tokenized through the space character. So let me show you through the code, that will be, I think, more easier to understand. Now here you need to create an object here, scanner. Just a moment. So this is a scanner object I'm using, and you need to create this scanner through new scanner, and you need to import the scanner from utility package, and you need to supply the input stream object here, and my default input device will be, my default input device is System.in. as I already talk about the standard input device, which is keyboard, and it is represented by System.in instance. So this is System.in I connected here, and now I can get the data directly from this keyboard because it is a ready to supply stream. System.in is a ready to supply stream. It is already open and it can provide you data. Now you can get the data here through a method call. Let me write a small message here, enter an int value. So let me show you different kind of values I will enter from this program. So enter the integer value. So let me take the integer value here. So that integer value I will assign here. So you can call here s.nextInt. It's a method. So this method will read one number from the keyboard, and that number will be converted into integer through this nextInt method. It will pass the input, and that input will be converted into integer, right? This is one. Now try to print that the value of I. You can print the value of I here. This is I, right? Now let me run this program, then I will talk about reading more values. Just run it. It's done. Look at this, enter an int value. So let me enter here some value, which is, for example, it is 10. Look at this, look at the value. This value of I is 10. It's very simple to take the values. Similarly, you can take here different kind of inputs. I'm going to enter a float value. It's a float value you can take here. So this is the float method. Let me change this to f, and the method is next float. So when you are saying here next float, you will get the input in float and the value of f will be right. So let me run this. Enter int value, so this is integer value, right? Enter a float value, so this is 10.5, right? So you will see here the float value is 10.5 and this is integer value. Similarly, you can get here different kind of values, like I would like to show you a simple string you can read from this. So this is enter a string value. So a simple method you can call here string. This is simple string and the method is next method, right? And you can print here value of s and print this. You will get here simple string. And what is wrong? Okay, str, the variable is already defined above, so str, this is better, str. Okay, fine, run this. Enter integer value 10, fine. Integer float value 10.5, fine. Enter string value, this is Vikram. You will see here the string is Vikram, right? One important thing I'm going to show you here, I entered a single word. So when you enter multiple words, we are not going to get from this simple method. So let me show you how to resolve that. Let me run this program again and show you the error. This is int value 10, float value 10.0, fine. String value, let me write here my first name and last name. As I already told you, the scanner class is based on delimiter pattern and the default delimiter is a space character. So when it finds here space character, this will be considered as different thing and this will be treated as your primary input. So look at this, let me write here enter. You will get here only Vikram. You entered Vikram Thakur. Due to this space as delimiter, you have got only first word. So this is a limitation here, because the way scanner is working is all based on the delimiter standard. So it is tokenizing your string through the space character. Okay, now what you can do here to get the value from, to read a line, you can say, you can do a simple thing. Enter a line. Enter a line. You can input multiple words here and you can read through this method next line. And let me write here, this is line and this is a line input, it's line. It's an entered line or input line you can print here. Okay, fine. User has to enter one line here and that will be printed here. Okay, now look at the change. Run this program. Enter integer value, fine. 20.5, right? It's a float value, correct? And this is Vikram space Thakur. Great. Look at the problem. We entered here Vikram Thakur. The next method has got the first word and the second word is given as input to the second next line method. So this method has received Thakur. So next line, when this is run, it has read here second word which is Thakur. Look at the output here. This Vikram, we entered Vikram Thakur actually, but the next method can read single word, right? And the next word which is already present in input stream is given to here, and it has not asked me for input because input was already there and that has been read. So this is the problem. So how we can resolve this? Let me write a small thing here. So once you have done reading of this value, you can create here one dummy statement. So s dot, you can create one next line. So just do this line here, simple next line. Where's that method? It's a next line. Just keep this statement as it is, because this will read the remaining data from the previous, from the same input stream, and I'm not going to use that because what is happening here, I entered Vikram Thakur. Vikram is correct, but this Thakur is a second word. Second word is given as input to the next line method, but I don't want to use that, so this is not required. So what I'm doing, I wrote here a dummy statement which will get the Thakur. So here Thakur will be read by this, which is not being used by me, and now here I will get the next line which will be entered by the user. So look at this, let me run this, you will understand properly. Now enter correct, now enter float value, this is 10.5 is correct. Now enter string value, I'm going to enter two words, this is Vikram and Thakur, right? And as a behavior of the delimiter pattern, here I am reading Vikram Thakur, but only Vikram will be read by this next method because it is not reading the second word. Okay, we have already seen that. Enter this, look at this, the word is read here, first word is read. Now it is asking for the next line, so let me enter here, this is a line, look at this, and it has read my line properly, right? So this is important thing you need to understand, and what and why I need to create, why I need this additional statement, because this particular method is reading first word, and the second word which is already present in input stream will be read by this next line method. So if you are not going to use this line, that input will be read here automatically, and this line will get the Vikram, or this line will get the Thakur as second word. So second word will be considered as input for this method. So I don't want to consider any remaining data from this method. So what I can do, I can place one dummy statement here. So this is the way you can handle the input. So it is based on the delimiter pattern, and the default delimiter is in the scanner class is a space character, but don't worry, there is a provision to change the delimiter through regular expressions you can use, but this is the simple way we can take the input. So I hope this is done for now, and thanks for watching. If you have any query, you can ask in comments, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Bye bye. Hello friends, I am Vikram from eZeon Technologies. Welcome to my Core Java video series. In my previous video, I talked about how to take input from keyboard with the help of scanner class, and now in this video I am going to talk about how to take input through a small swing pop-up window, which is a graphical way to take the input. So in fact you can use that. So let me create one class. So take input, so let me write here GUI Input. So you can use graphical user interface to take the input. So it's a GUI Input. You should describe the class name here, taking input using GUI Input dialog. It is part of the Swing library. It's a Swing API I'm going to use here for taking the input. So let me show you how to do this. This is more easier way, I think. So I'm going to take one value from the user. So suppose I'm going to take a name. So name you can take from the user using this J option. So J option pane is a class you need to import from the Swing package, and look at the package name here. It's extension package java x.swing. This is your class, and it has a method, static method you can call here. This is a method name show input dialog. So you can call this method, you can write a message here, what message you want to display to user, enter, or you can say here your name. Okay, so this name, this will be displayed as a caption, it's a label, and the value entered by the user will be assigned here, right? And the input I'm going to print here. So just print the name here, name, sorry, name, you can print here name, right? This is the way you can take the name. Similarly, one more thing I'm going to take the salary, which the salary will be float. So this is salary, and you can take here salary. Again, the data will be always provided in the form of string using this show input method. So the everything will be given by this method will be string. So you can take the data in a string variable, str salary and take the salary here. J option panel dot show input dialog, you can take here enter salary. Okay, so the salary will be given as string, but you can convert in float with the help of simple technique. This is new float. I'm using wrapper classes here, and this is str salary. Okay, so this is how you can convert the string salary into the float salary with the help of this simple technique. Similarly, you can take anything. You can take anything from user. Like one more thing I'm going to show you, integer, and I'm going to take here the age. Let me take here age. So the age will be entered by user, and J option panel dot show input dialog. Sorry, so this is input dialog, enter age. That age will be given here as a string. You can convert in integer through this method. Okay, fine. So I got all these values, name, salary, then age. Print all the values here. This is name, this is name, you can print, and this is name, then salary, and this one is age. So I got all these values. It's very simple way. So this method, this show input method, will show one small pop-up. User has to enter the detail, and that detail will be considered as string by default, and for different types you need to convert through like this. Look at this, new integer, new float I'm using it. In fact, there is one more method called parse int, parse float you can use for converting your string value into the required data type, right? So let's run this quickly. It's very simple. Look at this, it is asking for the name. So my name is Vikram Thakur. Okay, it is asking for the salary now. Salary is, this is some salary, I think this is sufficient. Okay, I got the salary, and age is 33 years. Okay, so these are the values I taken here out of the range, or not, I should not say it is out of the range, but long values will be converted in the exponential form. So don't worry, you can use some, you can take some small salary. Run this again. This is Vikram Thakur, and you can say here this is my salary. Okay, fine. Age is 33. Okay, fine. I got these values, the name, salary, and age. Why this is printed here twice? What is wrong? Okay, I printed here too. Okay, fine. So this is the way you can take input. So I'm taking the detail through this method. This is another simple method, but remember, this will work only when you have done this simple import. So I hope this is enough for this video. If you have any difficulty, you can ask in comments, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Hello friends, I'm Vikram from eZeon Technologies. Welcome to my Core Java video series. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to read command line arguments in Java. So let's begin from the code directly. So describe your program. This is my simple example based on command line example. Okay, now create a class here. This is a class. I'm going to name this test command line arg. Command line argument I'm going to experiment here and create a main method. So public static void main, and this is very important, args. This is the array going to read all the values which is supplied through the command line, right? So this is the array. It's very important, args. You can change the array variable name, not a problem, but the type must be same. It must be array type. Okay, now let me show you few things. System.out.println, system.out.println, and you can print the size of this args dot length. So just print this. And one more important thing is use here length of args. Okay, just print this. Save this program in our folder. This is .java. Where to save this? Go to D drive. I'm using here. This is D drive, and this is my work directory. Copy this, save here. Go to command prompt here and D drive cd work. It's fine. Check your program. I could see my class here. This is my class. Now Java C test command line is fine. Okay, now run this program. There is no error. I could compile here successfully. Now look at this. I'm not passing any command line argument right now. So look at this. Just run without any arguments. Just run like a normal program. You will see here something. The length of the array is 0 because I'm not providing any input here. Just one more thing you can see. Let me pass here. This is first input is 10, second input is 20. So how we supply command line arguments? We need to put here space, right? So after your class name, put here space, first argument, second argument, right? And delimiter will be space character. Okay, just look at this. You will see here two arguments. Look at this. Pass here one more value. You will see here length is 3. So the values we are providing here is read inside this array, right? Now you can print all these values through the loop. So let me use here this simple technique. This is args, and one by one you can read here values. So this is one argument, this is one value, or you can say it's element of the array. And args, this is your array, and all the values will be printed here one by one. System.out.println. I'm using this for each loop. So print here value. So whatever the value supplied from the command line will be read inside this array, and you can print that one by one. Right, now look at this. Save your program, recompile it. It's fine. Now pass some values here. So this is 10 space 20 space 30. 3 arguments I supplied, and I could read all three values here through the array, through this array, right? And for each loop I'm using to read values one by one. One more thing you can try here. You can use some different type of details. So let me pass here some more values. This is A space B space C. You can see here A, B, C. So when command line arguments will be used, especially your program required some input to start processing the program, start processing your job. So for example, sometime when you connect to some remote terminal, so before connecting to those terminals, the program has to you need to pass some username and password to that utility. So when you pass username and password through the command line, the program will receive your input, then it will permit you if it is right. So command line argument is used at many places. So one more thing I can show you. When you have run your program like this is very important. Don't forget to pass here argument. These three are the arguments, so I'm going to note down here so that you can remember. Run as below command. So don't forget this command. So you have to pass here values, and you can see these values like this. So when you pass these values here, right? So these three values A, B, C, all these three values will be placed inside args array. So this is A, and this is B, and this is C, the 0, 1 and 2. This is your args array. It's correct. So this is your args array. When you see your main method, it's a main method, and here this is your string args. Okay, fine. So this is actually this array is actually this one, right? So whatever the values we are providing here will be copied here. First value, the second value, and this is the last value, right? And you can read the values here. So this is, I think, enough discussion about the command line argument. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any query, you can ask in comment, and don't forget to subscribe my channel for more updates. Thank you very much for watching.